Hello to whoever is watching this video. My name is Hamad Ayaz and I'm going to be presenting and demonstrating the final project for CSC 337. So before I actually demonstrate the project, I want to talk about it in general. So we have developed a workout scheduling app called FitZone. This is an app which allows users to create workouts, meals, and schedule them in a calendar. We have implemented this calendar so that it can store workouts and meals for up to a month. With the introduction out of the way, let's get into the app. This is the very first page the user sees when they search for our app. It welcomes the user to FitZone and it gives them a general description of why they would be interested in using this software. Clicking the sign up button leads the user to a login page which shows the login or create account option. If the user is a first time user, they can create an account, whereas if they are an existing user, they just have to log in. And now I'm going to create an account called demo. So if the user is a new user and they have never created an account with us before, we bring them to a data collection form. Over here we grab information from the user such as their height, their weight, their sex, their chosen level of fitness, and whether they have gym equipment or not. In this text box, the user can enter any information which will be displayed publicly on their profile, such as once the user submits this form, they are brought onto the home page of FitZone. The Home tab is pretty straightforward. It consists of a calendar which is marked from the 1st all the way to the 31st. This represents the number of days in a month. Each cell of this calendar houses the name of the workouts and the number of meals. Currently, there is no data in any of these cells as we have not added anything to the calendar as of yet. Moving on to the Profile tab. The Profile tab is where the user can see the general information they added into the Getting Started form. This includes details such as their name, gender, height, weight, or BMI. The BMI is a body mass index which helps the user know what a healthy amount of weight is for their height. As the user grows older, their height may change, so this can be updated. As you can see, this automatically adjusts the BMI. The weight can also decrease or increase, and this also automatically updates the BMI. The user also has the option of searching for other users who are using the app. For example, let's search for Vic. This displays another user. It shows their name, their height, weight, and more. It also shows their fitness goals. Moving on to the Workouts tab. The Workouts tab is where the user can add workouts to the calendar. Under the Workout Categories heading, there is a toggle. If the user chooses Predefined, this shows a list of categories which have already been created and they cannot be edited. Clicking on any of these categories opens a drop-down which shows a list of exercises. These exercises can be added to the selected workouts container by pressing the plus button. In addition, these can also be removed by clicking on the minus button. Once the desired exercises have been chosen, the user can assign a name to this list. For example, morning exercise. Then they just have to simply choose a date for the calendar. I'm going to choose the 1st. A pop-up message appears showing the list has been added successfully. If we return to the calendar, you can see that the exercise name has been added right here, and clicking on this leads to a page which shows us the workouts. Going back to the Workouts tab, we can also add additional categories to one day. But now I'm going to show that the user can also create custom categories in case they do not like the predefined categories over here. So clicking on the Custom tab, brings the user to their own custom categories. We have already created these categories for testing purposes. For example, the user can create a category called My Gym Workouts. These have exercises within them which are also created by the user. As you can see, these categories and the exercises within them also have a remove button. So they are completely customizable and they can be deleted. For demonstration purposes, I'm also going to show how you can add a category and exercises to it. So let's create a cardio category. As you can see, it adds a cardio category, but it has no exercises within it. So that's what we have to do next. Under the Add Workouts to Category heading, you can click on the Add button, choose the newly created category, and add exercises to it. For example, running. You can also add information such as time or sets or repetitions. For example, let's say running for 10 minutes and cycling for 40 minutes. If we return to the Workouts tab, we can see the newly added information. We can also remove this. Clicking on the plus button adds it to the selected workouts list on the right. And we can again, as before, assign a name. For example, let's assign afternoon workout and add this to the first. Upon returning to the calendar, you can see that morning exercise and afternoon workout has been added. I'm going to pause the video now and fill out at least the first 7 columns inside this calendar. I have now added a lot of data to the first row. I have added exercises and meals. Moving on to the nutrition tab, I'm actually going to show you now how a user can add meals. So for example, let's add eggs and toast. You can add some nutritional information such as 25 grams of protein, 30 grams of fats, calories, and finally you can assign this meal to a specific date. Let's choose the first. To show that the calories can be added up, I'm going to add another meal such as steak. Add any sort of nutritional information. And calories. This is also going to be added to the first. So we have added 2 meals to the first, and if we return to the calendar, we can see that it has updated the meal count to 2. Clicking on this is now going to display our previously added workout routine and the meals. And as you can see, the total number of calories have been added up here. The workouts are not limited in the way where you can only add predefined workouts or custom workouts. In fact, you can mix and match both. The very final help tab is where we give the user a general idea of how to use each specific tab of our website. When it comes to functionality, once the user is done with a specific day, they can either keep the information or they can go and remove it. So let's clear this for today. And the user can add more information to update this. Furthermore, once the user has added workouts to the entire month and they are done, they can reset the entire calendar by clicking on the Clear Calendar button. As you can see, this has reset the entire calendar and it is ready to be used for the next month. Now that I have explained how the app works, let's go into the code and understand how the file directory is set up and how the server runs. All our data and code is stored in an app folder. This folder houses the server.js file, which I will get to later, and the public HTML folder. The public HTML folder contains all of the front-end code. This includes the Java files. These JavaScript files match each HTML respectively. The public HTML folder also has the background folder, which contains the background image for the login page. These are the HTML and their respective CSS files for the front end. Now moving on to the server file, at the very top we import the required packages, and this is where I'm using sessions. The application has been set up in a way where the user has a 2-hour limit before their cookie expires. The server checks every 20 seconds for all of the cookies for all users. And for those users who have expired cookies, they are redirected back to the login page. This is where we create the schemas. The user schema contains the user account information from the getting started page. The category schema contains all of the information from the workout tab, and the workout list schema is the information which the user adds to the calendar. The same goes for the meal schema, which consists of the meals the user adds to the calendar. This block of code is what we use to hash the passwords. And this is where the models for our schemas are created. The required cookie function is used to validate all the necessary endpoints, so that if a user accesses any endpoint without a valid cookie, they are immediately redirected back to the login page where they'll have to log in again. The add user and login endpoint do not have the required cookie function, as they do not need validation. But all the other endpoints require validation. We have endpoints here where we upload lists, add workouts, add meals, update user IDs, and things like that. At the very end, we initialize the server at the port 3000. That is all for the code. Thank you for watching my presentation on the final project.